Hey everybody, it's CountMRVHS, and welcome back to episode 2 of our Medieval Total War French campaign. We're playing on Glorious Achievements, and we have just started our first crusade headed toward Antioch. What we're trying to do here is clear the way so that we can have a good go at getting the Crac de Chevalier. So let's take a look at the map here, down where we're headed. So there's Antioch. Now, typically, you will have this province as the northernmost outpost of the Egyptians. And Tripoli is right here below it. This is the place where we need to build the citadel. So why am I going for Antioch instead? Well, what I want to do, like, we could go for Tripoli, but then we would basically be going through this army and then having to go through this army, right? And even though these are largely peasants, I think it makes sense to get a sort of a solid foundation here where we're only going to be counterattacked from one direction instead of trying to potentially hold down both of these provinces. So we're going to grab Antioch, and then immediately we're going to, or when we're about 4 turns away, we're going to start building a second crusade. Now that's going to take us another 1,000 florins, and that's going to take us 4 turns to complete. So that's why we want to wait until we're, about Constantinople or Nicaea, something like that. Something where we're four provinces away from Antioch. And we'll build another crusade and then send that immediately down to Tripoli, and that can be assisted by whatever forces we have left over here. Now, this first crusade may fail. So, I have had this happen in the past where I've sent out an early crusade, and it just kind of withers in the Balkans and in Anatolia. And if you end up having to fight a lot, it may not be enough to hold on to the province you're going after. But we will have another one following in its wake, and hopefully that'll be sufficient. The deadline for the Citadel is 1200. So we've got, 92 turns. And that should be plenty of time with a couple of crusades, and we could even probably have time for a third or more. But the question is, it's going to take us about 50 turns to build all of the necessary things in Tripoli, because they tend not to have this upgraded very much. So with that in mind, let's take a look at our alliances. We're only at war with the Egyptians right now, and we are allies with all of our neighbors. We did manage to get some marriages with some nearby factions, so our heirs are all married, I think, all 3 of them. And that's great news. That means they can start producing sons for us, so our line is secure for the time being. The one question mark here is the Aragonese. They have started a fight with England and have not made out too well. And what I'm kind of waiting for is one or the other of them to win down here. And I don't know who I'm rooting for, honestly. We're allied with the English, and that alliance is going to hold for a while. But, the Aragonese are small. It's hard not to root for the underdog. We're kind of vulnerable in Toulouse, and at some point, we will need to regularize our borders in France. But first, we're focusing on Crusades, trying to get glorious achievement points. Our money is, we don't have enough to do anything right now because we invested a lot in mercenaries to make this crusade viable. But with all those troops away on Crusade, we've got 1,000 coming in the bank next turn, so we will be able to do something. And then what I think I want to do while the Crusade is going is really focus on economy. Really put that money back into farms and, defenses and things, sure, but we want to go a little light on troops. Our second Crusade, if this first one goes well, the second one does not need to be as big, because if it goes well, we can, get troops like an inn down in Antioch. We can get reinforcements from there directly. So we want to focus on the economy so we can have money to build this crusade when it comes time for it, and while we're still at peace with all of our neighbors. Now the fun thing about crusades is that in this game you can use them as a sort of a political tool as well. And this is something that Medieval 2, for all of its great qualities, does not really have. The Crusades in Medieval 2 are just another army that can move really fast, right? I think if you don't move towards your target, you will eventually take desertion. But nothing works quite like it does in the original Medieval, thanks to the risk style map. What that means is every time we take a step toward our province, that we're not inside our own territories. We're moving through another province's territories, and we are stealing troops from the Germans. So even though we're allied to them, we are weakening them. And I know that they just got themselves involved in a war with the Italians. The Italians seem to be winning that. They took Provence off of them. So I have a couple of choices here, right? Like I could go into Burgundy and kind of weaken their troops there, or I could go up to Lorraine and weaken their troops there. I think I'd prefer to weaken them in Lorraine a little bit because that's where my forces are sort of concentrated. But that's just a fun sort of feature of this game. So let's see. I mean, the Germans could deny us passage. That's the other thing. Every time you enter a new faction's lands with a crusade, they have to let you through. And if they don't, you fight. But typically Catholics will, because if they don't... Yes, so this is fine. Your messenger is reported. You are welcome to pass through this land. If they denied us here, I think that's an instant excommunication for them, which is very bad news, especially for the Holy Roman Empire. Okay, and I was expecting this because we had a marriage offer or a marriage request from the Germans that they wanted to marry my princess. I agreed. That made us allied, and that meant that the marriage sent by the Italians, right, we're allied with them, but since they're at war, we have to choose. I think I want to remain allied to the Germans. All right, so Prince John is a true zealot. I'm not sure if that's because he's leading the crusade. It would kind of make sense. He already had a zeal trait, so that may just be a natural improvement of that. And Lord d'Orléans is a believer and a secret blackmailer. This is potentially bad. You lose a couple or 3 points of loyalty if this becomes not secret anymore. So that's a concern, but he's not too bad. He's looking pretty good. Okay, so we've got 2,237 men. I think we had just over 1,000 before, but we've got a lot more now. Look at all of these units. All of these Teutonic sergeants, we got 4 full units of them just for stepping foot inside Germany. Now, this is really interesting and something I forgot about. But you don't only steal troops that already exist in the province. Sometimes, like in this case, you get just a bunch of free troops who want to join you. Lorraine, when we entered it, was 100% zeal. So it may have something to do with this. So that's wonderful news. Let's see what else we've got here. These are all of our Hobilars. So some troops are going to decrease, right? Like we had more Vikings than that, but some of them went away. I'm not sure why. And all right, yeah, it looks like stuff is reshuffling. These peasants came from, I'm assuming, from the Germans. Yeah. All right, so we've got 2237, and just to sort of compare what kind of numbers we're looking at here, so 679, so that easily would counter this. Right, would be in pretty good shape. Now the problem is this is not going to stay that good. It is going to go down over time, and we don't always get a choice about where we can go. When we were moving from Ile-de-France, our first step of the crusade, usually you have a couple of choices, and then it's like from there it's sort of like almost like a choose your own adventure or something. There's like a few branches, but it's not all branches. All right, so we're going into Franconia, and we have no idea what this is going to have. So it might make sense for us to get some agents over here. We can't even right-click on the province to see how the zeal is. But yeah, Lorraine, 100% zeal. So 2237, we got to remember that. And let's see where we can get the most bang for our buck. We've already done farming upgrades in Flanders. I mean, trade would be nice. I just don't know. It takes a lot to get it set up, and it feels kind of flimsy sometimes. But we are making another 1,000. All right, so let's just look at what we could just build. Okay, Ile-de-France, actually. So currently, the farm income here is 402, and this would make it 479. You know, that's decent. Let's go with it. I think every other place has farms. Actually, no, Toulouse does not. This is making 267. That would be 320. Let's do it. We want Toulouse. We need this anyway because Toulouse is going to build chivalric knights someday, hopefully. They get a valor bonus here, and you need the first level farms to get stables online. So that's all the money we have. Actually, we don't have enough money to build both of those things. So let's leave that for now. We'll just go 600 and we'll try to save money. I don't think I need to move agents around. Actually, what we could do is we could just kind of move some of them up towards the Crusade to see what we're getting into. So we're no longer allied with the Italians, but I think they're sympathetic to me. In the first episode, they sent me a princess, which seems like a good indication that they're serious about wanting to be an ally. Okay, the Byzantines are the most advanced, meaning they have the most, like, buildings and upgrades. Okay, not interested from an alliance with the Almohads. The Byzantines looking quite strong in the Balkans as usual. Alright, yeah, we'll just keep all of our other agents down there on the seaboard. Right, so we have to go into Bohemia. What was the zeal here? 66. So we gained a few men here, like less than 100. So we'll see what Bohemia is like, and yeah, we're at 1500, so now we can go for farming in Toulouse. Alright, let's kind of shuffle our units around a bit, or just see what we're dealing with. So, where am I going to be attacked? Probably here. We've got alliances with the English and with the Germans. And so as long as they're busy, and they both are, I don't think we're going to be in trouble. Because the English are at war with, with the Aragonese, and they're going to have to keep fighting for this, which is kind of good news for me, I think. And the same thing with the Germans, who just actually started war with the Hungarians, or vice versa. So I think we're pretty safe. The nice thing, actually, and I forgot this too, Crusades give you really a great deal of visibility, because it's almost like you own the province. You don't, but it allows you to see everything around you. Not in detail, like I can't tell what these units are, I can't tell what buildings are in the province, except for the fact that, you know, there's a port, there's a keep. But it lets me see the strength and who owns what. So I know that the Germans still have Brandenburg and Saxony, and the Polish still have Silesia. And so this war with Hungary has not gone into Bohemia yet, but it might. So this is actually all really useful information. All right, we're making, we're making the farms there. That'll be farms. Yeah, I think we just wait. Interesting. So the English did not counterattack in Aquitaine this turn. Oh, Turks. Oh, bad news. So the danger of going through Byzantine territory is that you're going to lose troops in your crusade. But Turkish territory is worse, because they will be fighting us. All right. Steward. Nice. All right, I'm not sure why he has that. He is, Duke of Ile-de-France, that's why. Right, he's not the leader of Brittany, he is the Duke of Ile-de-France. So we just built a farm, and so now he's got the steward trait, which is a good one. Plus 10 happiness, plus 10 to agricultural production. I think that means money, basically. Yeah, this was not predicted to make over 500, I'm quite sure. It was like 470 or something. So that's awesome. Alright, so what else can we build? We could go, I mean, since he's such a steward here, we could go spend 1,000 on that. I'm tempted to do this just because it's cheap. It'll allow me to build up funds. And also, I like the keep and curtain wall because, you know, typically the keep, it looks like this on the battle map where you've got a stone wall center with a wooden wall around it on the outside. So the keep and the curtain wall just makes this wooden part stone, which means that they have to get through the gate. They can't break down the walls. Like this wooden stuff, any unit of peasants could run up to it and throw torches, and eventually it would come down. They'd go through it that way. So forcing them to go through the gate is better because typically at this point armies are not going to have siege weaponry, so they will just hack down the gate, and that just makes it easier to deal with. So this is nice, but maybe I really do need to start focusing on trade and other income. Let's do 800 for a trading post, because Flanders has the potential to be so wealthy, and I think we want to start working on that. It would be nice also to have some light cav, but okay, so Bohemia, just seeing what they've got. Prince Conrad looking very loyal. Decent-ish army, but the Hungarians did move into Austria. So that's kind of good for them. We have to go down into Hungary. The zeal here is 66, not great. What are we looking at? 2504. All right, I think our crusade is still growing. So we're at 2,500 now, and we have the option to pick up some interesting Hungarian-specific units. Zekeli is a really good, by all accounts, horse archer, and it's also got, I think, some, yeah, good attack. So they've got some melee capability. So this is a neat unit to have. Jabagi, another interesting unit. There's not that many javelin units in the game, or at least not before Viking Invasion got added. So, you know, like, I don't think the French can train any javelin units, for example. But over in Eastern Europe, you do get a fair amount of them. So this is one of those. All right, so moving into Hungary. Yeah, let's actually move him down, because probably we're going to go to Bulgaria next. Okay, nothing really new. They've got maybe some more archers now. This is all the same kind of peasant stuff with, you know, with a prince on top of it. This guy, natural leader, so +2 morale. Okay, that's, you know, that's fine. He's probably going to be the leader, but this is all peasants anyway, so the morale's not a big deal. All right, I really hope the Byzantines at least hold on to Constantinople for a while. Right, because we're entering a new kingdom, we have to get permission, and we do. All right, the Egyptians are content. They're the happiest population, that's fine. And we get another heir. Great. Okay, so the Alexiad, a glorious history of her father and the Byzantine Empire, so +1 influence to the emperor. Good. I don't think it'll be enough to save him. Prince Charles is a secret blackmailer, that's not good. Secret fanatic. Wow. So I don't know what this is going to turn into when it gets discovered. All right, now that looks, the banner looks big, but I'm thinking we've actually lost men. Oh no, we did. We got about 100 or so. 26, 25. This is awesome. Yeah, and we got 2 full units of Sekeli. And yep. All right, here's where it starts to go downhill. So first we see if the Byzantines will let us move through. I kind of think they will. They typically don't. We have the option of looting some of these provinces too, which is kind of nice. All right, but we got to start thinking too. It might be time to start building the crusade. We want to save like 1,000 to get permission from the Pope to send our second crusade to Tripoli, but it also costs us 1,000 to build the crusade. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 5 turns away, or it could be 1, 2. Yeah, I think 5 is the best. So let's actually shell out for that right now. And let's see if we got mercenaries. We do have quite a few, actually. So we could just hire these guys back. That's nice. If we've got the money, I'll do it. And then maybe we can grab a few others as well. Because this is going to be a weaker crusade. Let's start building it. And maybe we'll train, like... I don't know. We can't train too much while we're building the crusade. Let's go with, like, an archer. And then we'll get the mercenaries later. We'll send some of these units along too, as long as peace holds. Now, this is interesting that it hasn't really changed. I would have thought the English could just come in here and trounce these guys, but maybe they're a little more cautious. I mean, they do only have these two provinces here. So they can't get support from up there yet. All right. We moved into Bulgaria, and we'll see how much we lose. 26-25. All right, good. Byzantines are on the counterattack. Great, we're welcome to pass through. Yes! All right, it's not much. 478. Any little money you have lying around will be just fine. Okay, trading post, good. Okay, so they're asking to marry my princess. I don't think we need it. I like that they're interested, but I don't think we need it, so we'll say no for now. Awesome, Lord of Bouillon. Wait, that's him? Okay, I guess so. Honorable Warrior, that's beautiful. Well, okay, it's not totally perfect. -1 dread is kind of bad. But having morale is good. All right, 26. We didn't lose anything. Wow, even with 100% orthodoxy. Zeal is 12%. So what I'm not sure about is how zeal and the religion type interact. Like, presumably, only the Orthodox people are zealous here, right? And they're 12% zealous. But does zeal do anything for Orthodox factions? Or is it just for the Catholics and the Muslims because they can send, like, religious armies, right? The Muslim factions get jihads, and those, I think, use zeal the same way that Crusades use zeal. So maybe for Orthodox, zeal does nothing, and you want it low. Not sure. All right, so we can only now move into Constantinople, but there's a possibility, I believe, that you can use other factions' trade fleets or naval ship chains to transport your armies across the sea, or your crusades anyway. So, theoretically, if there's a ship here, 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 and here, we could maybe just go to Antioch next turn. I don't think there is. It doesn't look like they have much of a navy, but maybe I can't see it. Okay, so we got to keep this guy moving, and let's put one here and one there. So the Crusade may decide we need to go to Trebizond for some reason, right? All right, 26-25. We haven't lost anything yet. And we've got 3 more years, so bring you. I think I want to get some light cav. Maybe we'll send Prince Charles. Philippe, I want to keep close by because he is... Or Louis, actually. He might be a good guy. Let's see. He's got 5 shields. And actually, he's dangerous to send far away because eventually this can be discovered and then he loses a bunch of loyalty. And he's probably going to take a loyalty hit anyway when his dad dies. Because he's not going to want to, listen to his older brother. So maybe we bring Louis. He's a more loyal. And he's got 4 command stars. And he's not going to get super less loyal due to a trait. So yeah, I think we move him out. Maybe we move him over here for now. All right, we're bringing an archer down. I think, yeah, I'm just going to wait on the mercenaries still. Hopefully they'll still be here. The Arab swordsmen are gone, sadly. Okay, but what can we do meanwhile for economy? We just built the trading post. I think we're making enough that I can afford to go for a port. And then we will need to get a shipwright, which means getting a keep here. So it is, it's a little ways off. Let's do that. It's pretty cheap. There's so much I want to build, but I've got to save some money for the Crusade. All right. All right, they're going into Trebizond. Oh, that's nice. All right, we get another 1,000. All right, we're looting Constantinople. Okay, the Germans, their king is still in Franconia, the emperor. And King of Aragon, good. I'm glad to see him go. All right, Henri. Wow, we've got a few princes to pick from. Pride and Killer Instinct. This is potentially really nice. This guy could be a great fighter. Yeah, +3 Valor for Pride. +2 Valor for Killer Instinct. So we're looking at a 5 Valor general. That's without any command stars. And Sir Hugh de Payne. Ooh, this guy's famous. +5 health. Maybe I found our Crusade general. Oh, I gotta send him. That is great. All right, where is our new prince? This is him, Prince Henri. I think I'll take some of these guys. I think he can go, and Prince Louis and Sir Hugh de Payne. They can all go. The archers will go. All right. And 2 years for the Crusades. Okay, so I can train one more thing. Get it down here. And then, oh, Bulgarian Brigands, 2 Italian Mercs. That's nice. All right, hope they stick around. Let's see. Another Hobbler. Yeah, let's do it. And then we'll get like another archer, I guess. $4,000. So we're actually doing pretty good. And we are not at war with the Aragonese. So the reason I'm glad for their king to die is I'm not sure if I should be really glad. Like in Shogun Total War, there was really a clear sort of personality for each daimyo. Each faction leader seemed to be like coded in a particular way, and I think that changed when he died and his heir took over. At least that's the way the game manual and stuff talks about it. With this, I'm not so sure. Like the factions have personalities, but I'm really not too sure that each individual king does. Like apart from his traits, I don't know that these traits actually change the behavior of the faction. So the first king of Aragon was pretty aggressive. He attacked and bribed Navarre. He attacked into Aquitaine successfully, it turns out. I'm kind of hoping that the remainder of Aragon's existence is going to be more cautious. But that may not be the case. At least what it'll do is it removed, that king's death removed 1 unit of royal knights, right? So that's kind of nice. It puts them in a bit of a different position because their king has to go to their capital to get crowned. And so now they've got fewer men here than they would have had before. They're not at war with anybody else, so the Spanish are not likely to take advantage of this. But it may shake things up a little bit. So I may then want to spend some money in Toulouse. We don't really have too much here. Let's go for a horse farmer just to keep it cheap. Yeah, and I think that'll do it. All right, we are at 2625 still, and we do have a choice this time. We can go to Nicaea or Trebizond. Okay. I think I want to go the one that's more orthodox, that doesn't have an active siege at the moment, because if there's going to be a Turkish counterattack, I would imagine it's going to be Trebizond. So let's go down here and we'll see how that works. Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we can't 1, 2, yeah. They're both the same in terms of distance, but this one has more Muslims. Maybe that would hurt the Crusade more. I'm just kind of shocked I still have all these men. Yep, there was a counterattack in Trebizond. Wow. This is extremely lucrative so far. All right, Baldwin of Boulogne died of old age. Now, that's interesting. So, a while ago, Khan of Steppe posted a video, and I can't remember, actually. I think it was his English campaign. And we got to sort of talking about, in the comments, like, when you get a message about someone dying of old age, and my assumption was that that message comes up when you're talking about heirs, because the game does track your princes. So even after they're no longer in line for the throne, they do still have royal blood. But then when they die, that general, although it has all the same traits as the last one, it has a different name and it does not have royal blood anymore. So you get notifications about those characters dying, and I thought, okay, maybe that's that notification about some general has died of old age. Maybe that's just for the princes. But this guy was never a prince. He was always just an urban militia general. So this is telling us that that character has died, which has no bearing on us, really. It's just because, as you'll see, he'll have exactly the same traits. All right, so famine, that's unfortunate, but magnificent builder, +2 loyalty. That's good, but it's going to make it that much more painful when he dies. He's 64. I didn't realize that. All right, so his son's going to be taking over. One more turn for the Crusade. So, yeah, let's go with an archer, and, you know, we'll bring this down, and if we want to send the Crusade immediately, we can just send one or both of these archers with it. All right, Prince Louis is taking over, which I'm kind of glad to see. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. They don't have traits affecting the morale. I want to keep this guy up here. Although probably he should go on Crusade, right? I can't remember what his name was. It may have been Raymond, but the Count of Flanders was a guy who went on Crusade. And he would be a good guy to go. Lots of morale, but... I mean, he does have 5 command. It would be really fun for the roleplay. So let's do it. It's not like the best option, because I'm a little concerned about being attacked. And I feel like I want to bring all of these guys because I want the cav. But let's bring him down. He can lead the Crusade. The Count of Flanders was leading our second Crusade, which seems very appropriate. Okay, so, yep, an archer coming. Nothing else I can train. Our money is dipping because we've had a couple of sons come of age, but we've got plenty now. I'm not worried about it. So maybe we should grab the mercs before they go away. Russ Spearman. Yeah, let's go for it. That's a lot of money, but again, I think this is all going to be just fine. Okay, and let's halt building for the year. Oh, wow. The Turks have imploded. Oh, this could be great, because I don't want to have to fight the Turks. All right, still 26-25. Okay, so this is just going to be rebels. We're not at war with any rebels yet, but we will be here. Okay, yeah, we're going to declare war against the Anatolian rebels. This was a civil war. These are all Turkish units. Oh, what luck. I will take it. Yeah, these are all, this is, I mean, Rum, they lost Rum. I wonder if they have Lesser Armenia. And I guess we should check out Edessa too. And you know what? I'm curious about Syria, because that's theirs, and this could strengthen the Egyptians if they go for it. All right, we didn't lose any men on this crusade, and we're rocking right up to Antioch here. All right. Yeah, I think that's good. Yes, as I predicted, they're going to back off and just hold up in a castle. Conquered Anatolia. Yeah, we'll just do the middle of the road, execute the ringleaders. And that's the end for our King Philippe I. All right. So let's check him out. Okay, he's got just as much influence as his father, so theoretically that shouldn't change much. And loyalty... Yep, the loyalty of the sons has taken a dip. I think it's still okay. So he's going to be in charge of the stack. We're going to bring you down. Yep, Prince Charles, that's fine. Let's bring the archer down here. And what about you? Okay, still looking very good. And Odo is looking fine. Okay, actually. Well, he's educated, but that's only bringing him up to 2 acumen. I want something a bit better. We could bring some Hobilars in. Let's train one just to have some variety. And, you know, the Aragonese could crush us here. I'm not too worried about this because, yeah, again, if they do, even if they take us out here and here, the war would be over and we could get it back eventually. So, you know, I think would be okay. I think they've got to think, too, that if they move this army here, then they've weakened themselves in Aquitaine. We could move down, maybe at the same time that the English decide to do it. Okay, so the Crusade is out, and we've got a princess who just came of age. Let's get her down around Palestine. I don't think there's any other factions I really need to ally with, so we'll just use her as a scout. All right, Anatolia. I guess we didn't loot anything, but now we do have to declare war on the Turks, but that's a much smaller concern now than it was a couple of turns ago. So, Lesser Armenia, yep, we're going to declare war, unfortunately. But this is going to hurt them because I think, what do we have? Yeah, 26-25. We've lost nobody. This is like the most successful crusade I've had in terms of avoiding desertion, and I don't know how I did it. Is the zeal of this guy somehow part of it? It's not his piety. His piety's just nothing. I don't think his zeal would have anything to do with it because this is like zeal for when he's a governor and he's not. Anyway, so what's going to happen here is probably the Turks are going to retreat. We will take it. I don't think we're going to loot anything. But then we'll be able to move down to Antioch where they've got, you know, about 1,200 or so peasants. And they've not been building up their forces in Tripoli either. And this Sultan is about to die too. He's 64. So someone's going to take over for him. That's going to weaken them slightly. And this is great. We'll have to worry about this. So I think I'll keep our agents right there for now. All right, but yeah, money is getting a little tight. So we can't build the crusade yet. We can't, like, send it off. I don't think. Let me just check. Can we? Yeah, we already have an active crusade. Now, if the Pope had just called for a crusade, we could send one. At least I believe that's the intention. Sometimes you'll hear that the Pope, you know, is offended by these reprobates, and he'll name some faction, and basically it's like free crusades, go to town. All right, do I want to recruit then? Here and then here. This, I think the crusade only succeeds when we conquer the province, including the fort, so it might be like 3 turns. So I'll hold off on recruiting more mercs, but we've got, you know, almost a full stack here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 archers, and a decent amount of cav. I guess we don't have any urban militia. We've got 1. That's the general, though. So it's like that or spearmen. Actually, let's do both, because we can actually train things in Ile-de-France. How nice. Okay, so Flanders Port is still working on that. I'm almost thinking we want to go for a castle here pretty soon while we can kind of sneak it in. It would give us a bit of a leg up. It might make more sense to do this, but let's leave that for a bit later. All right, they're just retreating. Oh, and we conquered it We conquered it outright in the same year that they built a keep. Wow. Okay, another educated guy. Well-educated. Okay, so that actually just gives him a command star. It doesn't give him an extra acumen feather, but that's still nice. It's a good line to be working on. And what's this? We get another famous general, William of Ypres. Okay, you can be the new, governor of Flanders, or just general up there. Okay, you can come down. Wow, we got to keep here. Well, I don't think we can keep the keep. Let's see, we just lost 125 men or so. But we're right here. So I'm thinking we probably want to just ditch it. Just destroy everything. I'm half tempted to destroy everything but keep the port, because we could then trade with whoever takes us over, but it's probably going to be the Turks who take it back. So yeah, if the Byzantines were right here, but let's destroy it. 500 florins, so you get like half of the cost. All right. There we go. Boom. Now, very low taxes, I think. What am I saying? We crank it up to very high. They'll get a rebellion. I think it'll also get like a loyalist rebellion, but also a rebellion. Let's get our bishop, and we'll just kind of move these guys back around. My princess, I think, should be moving. Okay, yeah. Oh, she's just sitting in Navarre, but this is actually useful. She's 27. We'll have her for a little while. And Aragon is still technically at war with England. It might be nice to go up into England and see what they have, though. Let's do that. Let's take a little tour. I want to see what Scotland looks like. Okay, you can go there. Yep, Spanish javelin men. I mean, that might be kind of fun. 74 upkeep a year, though, is pretty high. Okay, yeah, let's do the keep. Ooh. I feel like I should probably have done it up here instead. But nah. Oh, they moved a third stack and bailed. All right, that's got to be good. All right, yes, so we got a little loyalist rebellion and a bandits rebellion. So no castle was present, or the castle had a garrison of less than 100 men. So this is actually a useful strategy if you're crusading, or if you're just wanting to sort of salt the earth. You can go into a province, and if you destroy everything and then crank up the taxes, you get basically this, which is pretty nice. Oh, wait. Aw. Interesting, though. I wasn't aware of that. So sometimes rebels can just join loyalist revolts. So popular unrest among the loyalists in this province. Number of rebel provinces just joining the revolt. So that's 2, that's Rum, and that's Anatolia. All right. Ooh. I mean, I'm going to say no to this. It's funny, but like, I don't have a new heir yet. So like my current king, Philippe II, is married, but this is not his son. I can just about guarantee it. This is like his little brother. So I don't think I want to accept this, especially since I don't want to make the Germans mad right now. I'm more worried about the Germans than I am about the Italians, so we will say no thanks. Let's see, Lord de Beauchamp, always drunk, so here's where it starts to kick in. Last episode we saw this guy get some bad drinker traits. The first one's not too bad, but then it gets really bad until it gets good again, because there's There's a trait that is, I think it's dead drunk. It is that he is so drunk all of the time that pretty much everyone around him knows how to adapt. And so you lose all of those negative traits, all of those like acumen penalties, I think the command penalties. You just lose all of that stuff, but I think he loses a bunch of health. So it's pretty funny how it eventually goes. Okay. Yes, highly educated. Oh, interesting. So now the first level of this is +1 acumen. The second level is +1 command, and the third level is -1 piety. So it's not always a good thing. All right. Well, I thought we were going to have like a fight here, but I guess that's going to come in the next turn, because for sure they're going to send everybody at me. This is their Sultan. He's 66 and he's still alive. So what might change here is, you know, he might die of old age, and then that would be up to one of these guys. Great Warrior, Irritable, Natural Leader. All right, I wouldn't want to be fighting this guy necessarily, but it's still mostly peasants. So what do we got? 2501. We haven't really lost anybody. All right, the rebels are Naphtha Throwers, which is a cool unit, but I don't like their odds here. Oh, and the loyalists. So we destroyed everything, and we left 24 disaffected Naphtha Throwers of opposing allegiance in the province behind us. So they will. I would love to see that fight. I have no idea how that would go. Okay, castle, keep. And we can't yet send the Second Crusade because we need to resolve this. And this might take a few years, actually, because if they attack, they will interrupt our assault of the keep or the fort. So I guess we can just keep training things. Let's get another archer. And let's get another, yet another archer. I think for crusades, especially against the Egyptians, you want to have a lot of foot archers. Okay, and Eleanor, let's send you, I don't know, let's go check out, like, Austria. How's that doing these days? She's going up into Scotland, so far this is fine. Okay. But Flanders, I think we can afford start building a keep there. All right, we lost a lot of mercs, but maybe next turn they'll be back. They didn't attack. Wow. All right, so the rebels won. Nice. Wow. All right. Well, we'll just make a save. We'll just do the assault. This is gonna be for the crusade. We take this when we meet our objective without really fighting the Egyptians' army. It's, you know, not a great move on their part, but on the other hand, once the crusade is no longer a crusade, we'll have to pay the upkeep. All right, we've got a catapult and we've got ballistas. You know, we can actually use them in this fight. Can they actually hit the gates? Yes. So we'll actually move the catapults over here. And they can hit that stockade, and we'll send the ballistas at the gate. And actually, oh, we picked up some Jabagi. We still got all of these guys. Oh, this is so great. We're going to be so in debt. So we've got to send the Crusade immediately. And then just hope that it all works out. Let's actually bring the catapult over here. So we can see right inside. And I want to do this with, you know, minimal losses. But I think the forces we have here are plenty. Yeah, let's bring you there. The Order Foot Soldiers. And I love the Teutonic Sergeants. Now, they dismount, okay, into Order Foot Soldiers. Let's go take a look at them, because it's a cool little unit. I always forget them, but these are a strictly Crusade unit. for the Germans or in German lands. This is not something that they can train. They get a little, like a feather in their cap kind of a thing. It's a sword unit, so it's not great on the charge. But yeah, let's get both of them, and maybe I'll use them, you know, to go in the gate on this side. And we've got our Knights Templar, who can dismount into chivalric foot knights. That is really cool. So here's what they look like dismounted. Looking a little late, right? This is more of a late era unit, the chivalric knight stuff. Looks like they get a lot of plate armor. Sort of a, I don't know, 1300s, 1400s style helmet. That's cool. I mean, and this is the Knights Templar just as they look normally. I guess we'll keep one unit like that. The Royal Knights, pretty much every cav unit can dismount before a siege. Oh, Feudal Foot Knights. That's actually awesome. So this is our Prince, Jean, I think. Great unit, but you know, it's tough. I think I will dismount just because it's kind of cool. We'll send him in on this side with the Knights. Great. Alright, now I think we're at, like, fire wheel? No, we're not. So we have to actually pick targets here. Yeah, let's hit the stockade. They've got no range units. This is just fun. I could have auto-calced this, but this is just a kind of a take-it-apart battle. We can even hit the central fort. We could really just destroy this. Oh, no. We are close enough to be hit, though, so that stinks. I didn't realize that. They got really good range. Alright, we're going to draw the fire with our archers. Nice. I'd forgotten this was a thing, but archers in sieges shoot fire arrows at the walls, at the wooden walls. Look how fast that is. That's ridiculous. All right, let's yeah, let's set the catapult going after like some troops. I'll hit that stockade too, I guess. Okay. So now I think we can just move in, right? I don't think there's really anything shooting at us. Except our own catapult. Yeah, the catapult's not really hitting much, but that's fine. So we can do a lot of this just with archers, and then we'll send in some spearmen because, what is it, 33, 50, 45, 48, yeah. So they're broken up into, instead of a single unit of 100 men, it's going to be 2 units of 50 men each. Yeah, we could try to hit the fort, and again, I don't really know if there's a purpose to that. We don't need to get in here. I don't even think you really can. Oh. Nope, not going to get anything. That gate is almost down. Alright, I think we will halt that.
The enemy's gate is
Oh,
broken,
nice.
and your soldiers are in the castle.
So yeah, let's send the general and the chivalric foot knights up. Alright, they've used all their ammo, so we'll move the spearmen in. Alright, why are we not actually shooting here? Alright, we'll have the prince lead the charge. Alright, they're choosing their own targets, evidently. Tell them to attack these peasants, but they want to go after these 10. Alright, I think we are getting some fire from the fort, actually. We're going to make short work of them. Let's actually get the chivalric foot knights around here. I think it's going to be all done. These are just peasants after all. There we go. And that should be the success of our crusade. Yeah, we've destroyed the fort. But we've accomplished the mission. And there goes the Sultan. So now he's going to be sort of crowned his son in Palestine. I guess that's what they've built up the most. All right. Godfrey of Bouillon dies of old age. Fine. Secret Pride. Nice. Sir Pierre Dulac. Let's see if we can find him. And yes, we get a crusade goal here because we've accomplished that. Let's find Pierre Dulac. He's got to be the leader of one of these. Ooh. Okay, this is terrible. But fortunately, we've got enough high command guys, or at least sort of rank guys. Like, you're pretty loyal, so we could get you over here. And honestly, that's okay. But let's see what our income looks like. We've got 4,500 in the bank, and we're making negative 798. So, what we're going to have to do here, we want to get AAA. There's 4 stacks there now, and it's going to be one of these two guys, either Prince Baybars or Prince Nasir. Loyalty is looking a little low because they just lost a Sultan, and he's got less influence than his dad for sure. Natural leader, but often drunk. Yeah, very honest is okay. like he's an okay fighter, I guess. But that bad influence is really unfortunate. What about you? All right, you're looking very, very loyal, but crack-brained. So that's going to be countering some of his other good traits for morale. So I think we can hold out here. Antioch gives a princely title to command, or 2 loyalty, 1 piety. And we can crank up the taxes to very high and start immediately building a fort. We could go on the offensive theoretically, but I don't think there's any point in that. What we will do, though, is get our second crusade going. We can do that immediately. So let's hit Tripoli. It's going to cost us 1,000 florins to get the Pope's support. We'll pay that. And we'll see what we have here. It is very similar to our last mission with, let's see, just 1 unit of Knights Templar. Nice loyal guy, decent stats. Charles de Valois. And we've got a couple Order foot soldiers and another unit of fanatics. So all this looks quite good, actually. And let's see. You know, I had thought about getting, more mercenaries, but now I'm not so sure. Let me just double check traits here. Oozes charms, fine. All right, no bad traits that might infect William of Ypres. Great. So we can just put all of this in, right? Lord de Bourbon, Count of Flanders. We've got 2 princes coming, Louis and Henri. Where's Charles? Where's Prince Charles? Do we have a Prince Charles? He was the guy who was going to be... Okay, this guy, right. He was going to be married to the Italians. Okay, but other sons, I think Philippe and Jean, I think these are sons of our current king that he started having, probably a decade or so ago. Philippe II, already 44, but look at his influence. I mean, a successful crusade does help. So this is already looking very nice. Let's go ahead and put all these guys in the crusade. 1,159 men. So that route worked really well last time. I'm kind of tempted to do the same exact thing. Still got 100% zeal there, and still a lot lower zeal in Burgundy. So I think we go the high zeal route, into Lorraine. So we've completed 1 crusade. Lesser Armenia is at our backs, still held by maybe 10 angry naphtha throwers, but they're not loyal to anybody else, at least. And probably in the next episode, we're going to have to fight to hold Antioch. I don't think the Turks are going to come in unless they are allied with the Egyptians, which they are. So if there's a big attack, the Turks may join in. But that'll be fun. That's part of the enjoyment of playing the French and trying to get a crusade out there early. I think we've got enough to hold out against it, but it'll be really fun to see what happens. So I hope you join me for that. Take care until then, and I'll see you in the next episode.